Hey, welcome on in, you rascals. Tobin here with you. Thanks for checking out the channel. If you guys could subscribe, that'd be great. Appreciate you stopping by this little shindig. And, what can I say? All the support, all the watching, all the comments, it all means a lot, man. Hit that like button, subscribe. You guys know what to do. You've done YouTube long enough. So, the Miami Heat, in the midst of this off season, they had that one roster spot left. They did sign another two-way over the weekend. But they still have that one roster spot left. And you have to wonder, what Miami is thinking. Because there are some teams, I'm like, I don't know what they're thinking. We talked a little bit about the weekend over this DeMar DeRozan wink deal that is rumored or kicked around in the ether of the Kings scope. But apparently there's a lot of stuff that's going to go on with the Kings. And I don't really know what the Kings are doing. I got to be honest with you. I think a lot of people probably feel that way, but I don't know what the Kings are doing, because I saw today kicked around was that that the Kings are going to bring in Russell Westbrook, and they're going to get rid of Malik Monk, and they're going to get rid of Devin Carter, who they just drafted. And I was just like, what? That seems strange. So they just drafted Devin Carter, and we talked a little bit about Devin Carter and the Malik Monk thing earlier in the year. I still don't know. I think that was before the Norman Powell thing came to fruition. I think the Heat would have to be really selective about taking another guard on. So I don't know if that's likely anymore now that Norman Powell is in the fold with the Miami Heat. I would venture to say it's probably more like it's why the DeMar DeRozan thing. None of this stuff makes sense with the Heat keeping their roster as constructed. If there's another move to come, and I hate to always do this because it's like the only place I can go to are two places if they're going to go get more backcourt help, is like, unless the Miami Heat are really squeamish about paying Tyler Hero and they're looking to move on, which I don't think they are. And now I think Tyler's going to get extended in the middle of the year. I think that's probably going to be a summer question, but unless that's happening, and or Andrew Wiggins, which, it's been reported by the Miami Herald, very credible, and Anthony Chang and Barry Jackson, that barring something crazy, they expect Andrew Wiggins to be on the team and be more comfortable and to be a contributor for them. I don't know how much getting another guard is like in the forefront. Some people mention a pure point guard. It's like, yeah, I get you, but what are they going to play? When are they going to play? Extend Davion, you have Norman, you have Tyler. Maybe you have the three of them on at one time. Pella's going to get some playing time. He is. You would think Yakachonis is going to get some playing time. Maybe not a ton, but he's going to get some playing time. Then you have Jaquez. So you're going to bring in, Malik Monk. I mean, I suppose in a trade like that, I'd imagine like Jaquez would be going back to the Kings. I would imagine it'd be something like that. But still, we're talking like that's a guy who's not playing. You're getting a lot of minutes. You got to find, if you're going to bring a guy who was nearly $6 million and a former first-round pick, you got to think that the Miami Heat wouldn't make that move without having somebody. But I saw the Kings. The Kings are bringing in Russell Westbrook. That's interesting, man. This is great, and obviously they're kind of circling around the Kuminga thing that's there as well. So I don't know, man. That's pretty wild. But I did see a move that I don't know if the Miami Heat can get in the game for, but this would be like an interesting one to me for the last roster spot. And that was whether or not Nikola Vucevic ends up being out for being a free agent. There's some fodder out there that the Bulls are not able to find a trade partner for them, and that he'll be a buyout. Now, maybe that buyout comes in the midseason, and this is an acquisition in the middle, and maybe this is the Heat. Maybe Khalil doesn't respond as well, maybe not. But if it is one before the season, would that be somebody that the Heat would be interested in, because the Heat have kind of shown a propensity to go after guys who are Heat killers. They do like that. See Fontecchio, see Wayne Ellington. You know, they do gravitate towards guys like that. They're like, oh, that guy played really well against. It's like it does. They take notice of stuff like that. And Nikola Vučević, I mean, this guy gives you nightmares for the Miami Heat. He is such a Heat assassin. I mean, especially in his Magic days, but really his whole career. He really is. Let me just see. Vucevic stats versus Miami Heat. Let's see. Nikola Vučević over his career has averaged 18 points and 11 rebounds against the Miami Heat. And I would venture to say if I went with the Magic years, just the Magic years, it would be he was 20 and 12 against the Miami Heat. He was so good against the Miami Heat when he was a member of the Magic. It was insane. Let me see if I go Bulls. There's a stat muse. Yeah, it's dipped a little in scoring. He still averages 11 rebounds. But he's kicked the Heat's ass his entire career. Now, I've thought about him and Bam. Feels like a fit that would fit like a glove. That feels like that would fit pretty damn strong. The question, though, is, okay, you do this. Vucevic is not what he was, and I'm sure if he's going somewhere new, would be more open to coming off the bench, being in a role like that. You know, I'm sure that that's going to be something that would be easier to have that talk. He's 30, was he 34? When's he going to be 35? Turns 35 right around when the season starts. So let's call him a 35-year-old. Yeah, if that does happen, would he come here in the Kevin Love type role of like, hey, if the bigs don't work out, would you be into it? Could you play him and Jovic together? Because the Heat don't really have a ton on the size end, right? They have Bam, Ware, Jovic, dude, and Golden. If this guy would be available, that feels like the perfect like final roster spot guy. I know we've kicked around Oladipo. I know we've just talked about the Kings guys, but that one to me is like. But here's the thing. You know, we have seen a lot of size go around the league on the cheap skis and guys looking for roles, and to me, like there's probably a role out there that's like a certified backup that they would get beat out for. I'm thinking like the Golden State Warriors, for example, right? Like the Golden State Warriors, when that Kuminga stuff was going on, that seemed so obvious. Like Kuminga for Vucevic, an obvious fit for them. Shoots the threes, maybe not the biggest defensive presence, but offensively talented center. I mean, I wouldn't rule out that that's probably where Vucevic goes. I don't know if maybe the Lakers tickles his fancy to go be, to add to their like kind of ragtag of playing with Luka. Man, Luka, dude, have you guys seen Luka? Sheesh. That wasn't just a good shirt at the Michael Jordan party, huh? He looks incredible. No gluten. Gluten-free Luka. My God. Nico Harrison, you bastard, dude. Unbelievable. He looks he is so skinny. And he's playing for Slovenia. I kind of feel like I'm betting on Serbia. It was announced today that or it was reported today, but I think it was kicked around that Joker is going to play for Serbia, which I don't know what that means for Jovic. But Serbia is the favorite to win EuroBasket. So I'm going to bet on Serbia. But I'm going to throw a flyer on Slovenia just for skinny Luka. I'm going to probably bet Sweden. I love Pella. I'm going to probably prop bet him if I'm allowed to. I don't know what the Hard Rock app is going to allow me to kick on, but I can't wait for that EuroBasket, dude. I think it's an exciting time. It's an exciting tournament, and it's so cool because I remember when Goran won the MVP of that thing, and tuning into it, and everybody was talking about Luka Doncic before he got drafted, and I'm like, what is this thing? And Americans, I don't think really have the concept of like Slovenia. I don't think people realize like how small Slovenia is and what a big deal it was, and Goran being the MVP of that. And and Luka was a baby when that thing last happened, when they won that thing. So, and I think Goran, man, I want to say maybe he got hurt in the final game. He had that incredible speech, but I'm very much looking forward to seeing this. Maybe I'm just starving for basketball, but I don't know, man. I saw the Vucevic thing. I was like, for a buyout deal for the Miami Heat, would I trade for Vucevic? Man, it would have to be like the biggest sweetheart deal for the Heat, and like maybe he makes a stink to get there. I don't know if I'd trade for him, but if he's on the buyout, yeah, I would definitely be interested in the Heat doing that to add a little bit more insurance policy, bring him into the fold, make the Heat a little bit even more international, more Balkans. I'm all for it, dude. That would be pretty sick.